What's going on, guys? Albie with Albie Fitness Gaming. And you seen the title of the video, you know why you're here. Bah! Green-White Company, Green-White Hate Bears. So, today we'll be playing against Death Shadow. It's the red, black, blue version. This matchup is not the hardest matchup, but it's also not the easiest. It's one of those matchups that you can actually get aggressive and attack them. And you don't care if they play their Death Shadow. Most of the times, depending obviously on what you have and what you've drawn, because you have things like Path to Exile and Skyclave, which are really good against Death Shadow. And then you have Knight of the Reliquary, which is usually bigger than the Death Shadow. So you're not too worried about them windmilling, slamming that guy. It's whatever. But again, it's one of those matchups that, like, if you draw not the right combination of cards, or they have like the God Hand and they have Coloman's Command, and they can get you with that, killing one of your equipments at a crucial moment of the game, and you don't draw any removal. Yes, they can get you, but I haven't found this matchup to be very hard. So let's go ahead and watch the game here, and I will commentate. So here we have a good hand. Here we have the Batterskull, we have removal, we have the Scrib Ranger, and of course we have the man, the myth, the Voice of Resurgence. We're going to keep that. So Dried Arbor is pretty awkward in this hand, but it is a good blocker, you know, so it's fine. But the plan is to just play the Voice of Resurgence and see if that's a good card in this matchup. Opponent taking extremely long, really thinking about their decisions of this game. And this is going to be the theme of this game. For some reason, they just had to overthink everything, or they were doing other things while they were playing MTGO. But I like to think that they were overthinking, right? So at this point, I don't really know what I'm playing against. So I see the Watery Grave. Once I see the Watery Grave, I kind of have an idea. It's a Death Shadow type deck, and the Inquisition gives me that like 9 out of 10 rate of like, okay, we're probably going to be playing against some type of Death Shadow deck. If it was Jun, it would have probably been like a Blood Crypt or an Overgrown Tomb or something like that, you know. But the Watery Grave into Inquisition pretty much tells us it's some type of Death Shadow deck. Opponent's looking at the hand, he's miring, doesn't know what to take here. So based on what my opponent takes here, I can kind of tell what type of hand they have. They end up taking the Voice of Resurgence, which tells me that they're probably low on removal. Because, I mean, taking a 2/2 over a path is pretty brave. And I'm not sure if that was the correct play on their end. So we luckily draw into the Noble Hierarch here. We're going to take 2, and we're going to play our Noble. And one of the things that I like about this game is that it's going to show you just how underrated Scrib Ranger is. Scrib Ranger saw a little bit of play in Modern when that combo deck came out, where they utilized the Scrib Ranger to untap. I forgot the name of the creature, but it was a 2 colorless, green and a blue. It was like a birthing pod on a stick. But nobody ever has shown you guys how Scrib Ranger is actually supposed to be used, at least one of the ways, and I get to really show you that here today. And hopefully more of you guys start picking up Scrib Ranger into your deck, because this is just one aspect of how good that card is. So here the whole time we're thinking, okay, we're going to end of turn flash in Scrib Ranger, we're going to use the Scrib Ranger ability to generate 5 mana and cast a Batterskull. That is the plan right now. And we're obviously hoping and praying to baby Jesus that he or she does not have Kolaghan's Command. Because right now, the only thing that we really have going right now is we're going to be able to windmill slam this Batterskull. So when he or she plays Snapcaster and they're going for the Inquisition of Kozlat, it's like, alright, cool, they're gonna take the path, but we're gonna go ahead and play the Scrib Ranger anyways because we don't want to risk it. If our opponent sees that Scrib Ranger and they can even have an idea of what we're about to do, they can probably take it. And there's actually no reason it's just to hold it right now, right? They're tapped out. Opponent takes path just like we expected. And now Scrib Ranger is going to show us why he deserves a slot in Hatebears. You draw the Ghost Quarter here. Ghost Quarter is decent, but we're not going to be using it right now. These Death Shadow decks, they don't run too many basics, so I mean you could run into a situation where if you're picking up a lot of Ghost Quarters, I'm sorry, we picked up a Force. If we do get a lot of Ghost Quarters, we can mana screw them, but that is not the avenue that we are going for in this game. The plan we've already had this plan maybe ever since we drew the Noble. This was the plan that we were going to do. We're going to get the Scrib Ranger down, generate an additional mana that turn, and windmill slam the Batterskull. My opponent was stopped there at our draw step. I'm not sure why, but you know, whatever. So here we go, Scrib Ranger shenanigans. And this is one of those plays that the opponent maybe didn't read Scrib Ranger in our hand and Batterskull. Obviously they didn't know we were going to draw Noble, but if we did have Noble, it's questionable whether or not they would have taken the Scrib Ranger, knowing that we could have brought in an earlier Batterskull to the table. So we're going to get in for 2 here. Again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, we don't care that they're playing Death Shadow. We're the aggressors here. We are the beatdown, my friend. We are not afraid of that card. And with this hand here, this is not even the best hand or set of cards to go against Death Shadow, because you can tell here a Kolaghan's Command would just blow us out of the water. I mean, they can literally kill our Batterskull and our Scrib, and then we're done. But this is how I like to play the matchup. I like to be the aggressor. I like to show them what's up. So here he is, the man of the hour, the Death Shadow. Currently a 4/4. So when he was doing this, he or she was doing this, I was like, oh man, do they have a Kolaghan's Command? I was like, no, please, no. But they didn't. They had this, the Royal Scions. I wasn't too familiar with this card. I had seen it play here and there, so I started reading it a little bit here. Make sure that there was nothing they can do to like kill me next turn. It wasn't, I mean, they can always kill you, right? Because I know we're going to be attacking for 6 next turn, which is going to bring them down to 3. So I know that the Death Shadow is going to be a 10-10. So that can make them a 12-0. And with the double strike instant that they use, they could have killed us, right? Because I believe we're going to get up to 23 or 22. Yeah, 23. So I knew, okay, we can die, but we can, since the Batterskull gives us vigilance, we can block. Worst case scenario, they do that. Opponent in the tank right now, really thinking about what he's going to do. The only option here is to pass a turn. That's my opinion. Opponent does have 2 cards in hand. Hopefully, at this point, I'm hoping that they are, you know, some type of discard spells, something kind of useless this late in the game. I don't think the opponent has Kolaghan's Command because they did play the Royal Scions, but who knows. One card we're definitely afraid of is Kolaghan's Command and Teamer Battle Rage. I believe those are the only 2 cards our opponent can have that can kill us. So opponent goes for the 2-0, the +2/+0 on the Death Shadow here. I think the opponent thinks that our game plan is just to attack with the Batter Skull. So their plan is to just block with the Death Shadow. Otherwise, I feel like the best thing for them to do was to just draw and discard and look for an answer. So that's why I'm under the assumption that they thought we were just going to attack with the Batter Skull. So there he is, the Scrib Ranger. So we're tapped out here. But keep in mind, because we have Scrib Ranger, we can untap the Dryad Arbor or the Noble Hierarch if we needed to block. If we needed extra to soak in extra damage. It's not much, it's 1, but it is what it is. That's an option, right? So we're not going to attack the Planeswalker here. I've made the decision, hey, that Planeswalker is not going to win them the game. Right? And we don't need to waste our time doing that. What's going to win them the game is a Kolaghan's Command or a Temur Battle Rage. And Temur Battle Rage is something that we can actually play around. It will just slow us down from ending the game. But Kolaghan's Command is the card that I feel they need right now in order to win the game. Now obviously if we draw a path, we pretty much win. But at this point, the way the game is set up, we don't need to draw anything. We just need them not to draw Kolaghan's Command and we win. Looking at that 10-10 Death Shadow, not even scared. We know what we did. We know why we're here, folks. So opponent draws and discards, which is the option I believe they should have done the first time. But again, I do feel that they thought that we were just going to attack with the Batter Skull and they wanted to block. Opponent really thinking hard, which tells us that they don't have an answer unless they're eating a bowl of cereal and taking their sweet time while we're playing and slow rolling us. So and there it is. Opponent scoops them up. So now we go to sideboards, and the opponent here is going to concede to us before we even sideboard. And I mean, I think the opponent saw that we were able to defeat them. We were able to defeat them with like nothing but lands and mana creatures. So they're probably like, imagine if this guy actually drew a decent hand. The devastation, the brutality that this green-white hate bear master would have delivered to me. I would quit Magic and start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon because it would just be too much for my little fragile ego. Sorry. Anyways, so that's the matchup. Opponent concedes there. But if we were to continue playing, let's go ahead and talk about sideboard options. I would have definitely brought in the Wind of Abandonment because we need to get rid of the Death Shadows. That is the biggest threat. I don't think we bring anything in anything else in. I don't see anything here that really, I mean, Thalia is decent, but like, is it better than Voice in this matchup? No, I mean, it'll slow them down a turn or two, but Voice is just a better card in this particular matchup. At least that's how I feel. And the only cards that I would bring in here is the Winds of Abandonment. I would remove, and this is one thing that I usually always take out, is going to be the Tracker and the Rabanap Excavator. Those cards are good. They're good for a value engine. But in this matchup, I do feel they're a little too slow. And we don't need the extra card advantage most of the time. We really just need our Knight of the Reliquaries, our Voice of Resurgences, and our equipment to take over the game. And of course, if we're drawing into Skyclave and Path, like, it's going to be very hard for them to beat us, especially if we're drawing also Knight of the Reliquaries and Voice of Resurgences and Stoneforges, because we're just going ham at that point. Anyways, guys, there it is. Green White Hate Bears versus Death Shadow. My analysis and how to play the matchup. Unfortunately, we were only able to play one game. But as you saw there, this matchup is not too hard. We were able to take the game with like minimal resources. Alright? Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like my video. It really helps out the channel a lot. And guys, take care.